So this is the, what's the date today? 9th of October, Node.js modules group meeting, and we've got quite a full agenda, so I'll get straight to it. The first item we have on the agenda for today is the roadmap update, which is pull request 387. Jeffrey, did you want to kick that one off?
Sure. Let me get it open. So this is just a reflection of what we discussed in the last meeting. I was kind of taking these notes as we were going along. So it's been 2 weeks since I remember what I wrote, but there shouldn't be any surprises in here based on what we were discussing for those of you who were in the last meeting. Let me see if I can share this.
So were you just looking to get this approved, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I mean, unless anyone has any objection to it. I mean, I guess the kind of fundamental part of this is that, I'm kind of assuming that we're essentially, as we've been discussing all year, we're aiming towards unflagging essentially when node 12 goes LTS. I'm assuming that hasn't changed. So assuming that that's our plan, then basically the stuff that's still in progress in phase 3, I just created a new phase 4 and kind of moved it all into it because those items, like loaders, for example, would be the best example. We're obviously still working on it. We still intend to ship like loader support for ESM, but as far as I can tell right now, we're not like viewing that as a blocker that's going to hold up unflagging. Likewise, whatever this turns out to be, the package route, whether it's a tilde or a @ sign or whatever, that can ship before or after unflagging. All these things, I'm assuming can ship after unflagging. So about the only thing left to do to unflag, as far as I can tell, is just the PR where we get all the tests working. I think. Oh, well, and this one, but this seems to have been resolved by that PR.
It's not quite as simple as that, and I probably can give an update on the unflagging PR. I don't know if it's suitable to give it under this item. We don't actually have a specific item on the agenda for it, I don't think. So maybe it's worth discussing that now while we're on the topic. Yeah, would it help? I can give a quick 2-3 minute update on PR if it's not off topic, or you let me know.
I mean, up to you. I mean, I guess I don't know if anyone has any objections to this PR, we can just approve it and move on, and then we can talk about that next. Or if people are going to want to talk about this, then I don't know. We can.
I'm still not sure we've got quorum to approve today, unfortunately.
I think it's just considered a documentation update.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, my only thing is I just don't want to be giving false information. If we say we're going to unflag for 12, I don't want to set the wrong expectations, given that it's not a given.
Well, this doesn't specifically say that we're going to do that. It just says at end of phase 3.
I guess it already says that thing about experimental modules, but yeah, we should maybe just think about that as well. But otherwise, this seems like a good summary of.
Oh, yeah. Miles gave an approval on this, so I guess if there's no objections among the 8 of us here, then that is quorum to at least just land this and move on.
Sure.
Anyone going once, going twice?
I mean, as long as this PR does not imply unflagging boundaries, like I don't care what phase things are listed in, but if it implies that phase 3 is part of the unflagging and phase 4 comes later, then like I think it's fine. But I think if if it's codifying a consensus that doesn't yet exist, then that's not something we should land yet. So, and it's a long PR. So like, I'll defer to your judgment about which one of those things it is, but like, that's my concern.
Well, I mean, it's what I said. It says right here, phase 4, further improvements after unflagging.
Right. So that's kind of why I'm hesitant, right? Is that like, there isn't consensus exactly. There's like, and there won't be until we unflag, right? So it's like, or until we agree when we're going to unflag, right? So it's your estimation of what is likely is not something that I think belongs in the official docs.
It's more that I was not saying that these things can't be done before unflagging. Like if we get loaders done before we unflag, then it ships.
Yeah, it doesn't constrain us, but it's
more that
telegraphs to the community that they shouldn't expect these things before unflagging. And I think that's not something that is appropriate until we have consensus that, like, you know, that's going to be what it's going to be.
All right.
And otherwise, it's just your guess about what's likely.
Well, I mean,
makes sense. Like, you might be right. I'm not.
I'm just trying to read the group. Like, you know, that's the. I'm not trying to.
But I don't think we should be updating our messaging based on a like fuzzy read of the group. I think that we need, if we decide to unflag, or we decide exactly what criteria is going to merit unflagging, and we all have consensus on that, then of course the documentation should match that, right? Like,
right,
that's
well,
obvious.
Guy, why don't we move on to that then? I guess.
Yeah, I wasn't actually going to go into a full debate over what we can, over what we believe we need to get consensus on to unflag. Maybe after we get through some of the other agenda items. I just wanted to give an update on the unflagging PR specifically, and more the technical blockers as opposed to the consensus blockers, because we have important technical blockers there. When I posted that PR, we still have 3 tests failing. And there is still some debate over some other aspects of it. So the main thing is that we're turning the node.js bootstrap into an asynchronous bootstrap from normally being a synchronous bootstrap. And that affects the ways that errors are output. It changes the output very slightly. So we need to investigate how we can make sure we match it up exactly. And that's something that's not reflected in the test failures right now. We also need to make sure that the exact same task queue event ordering applies. And because we've changed it to an async bootstrap, there are some cases where promise queues are getting cleared slightly earlier. And so the two failing tests are because it hooks wasn't built to the assumption of this, so you can attach to event initials, and async hooks get those events. Now, as soon as we make the core bootstrap